Close to what this week will look like when we arrive. Was extremely pleased with the execution and the way the kids really raised their level of execution and confidence in those inter squads. It was very easy. Didn't have to do a lot of extra. There wasn't a whole lot of frills. Very few errors whatsoever. Just a very calm and composed group right now that I think is hungry, and I think they want to go after this, and they understand more and more as time goes by what they're actually capable of doing, even in the midst of coming up short a couple of times.
Yeah, my limited amount with the girls today, that's just kind of the gist I got, is that they're ready. And then, like, that ready, that focus ready, I guess. Mm-hmm. As a coach, I mean, I guess you do kind of just like, all right, now it's like, don't mess it up time. I mean,
yeah,
just let them roll.
You know, and I think really a great team, the mark of a great team this time of year is when the coaches can kind of get out of the way, and I feel like that's where we are. I think they've learned a lot, you know, from some of the narrow losses. It actually fostered their belief even more in their own abilities. They've grown a lot. The youth is growing up in front of our eyes. We're seeing just progress across the board in so many areas, and so I think they're at a place where they feel prepared, they know what's at stake, and they just need to go be themselves. And that's really our message to them is to just, you know, in their words, they just need to be normal. That's what I keep hearing them say. And when they do that, the results have been consistently very, very strong.
Yeah, did I hear that y'all did or y'all will practice with having the gymnasts go on and off the floor like y'all will at the regional?
We're going to tell them today. We spent this morning trying to figure out what that corral situation is going to look like the first day. So we're going to kind of tell everybody where they'll be on each rotation today. I don't know if we're going to practice it because I really don't want to remove kids from. I think that's kind of silly. But as long as they mentally understand and know. They'll either be in the corral or they'll be in the tier 1 seating or they'll be in the tier 3 seating. Then they'll have a handle on it. I think, you know, for the most part we should be fine. It really only affects the first day for us because we don't have an individual with us right now, but there's a good chance we will after that play-in. So, but the second day that we'll be able to have all 15 of our allowables in the corral at that time. So really what we did this morning was try to make sure that we took care of the immediate lineup and alternates on that event, who potentially needs to be out there because they're getting ready for the next event. And then also, if we could, consider some of the kids that provide us with a lot of energy, whether that's Kai Rivers, Liv Gunner, those kids, try to get them into corral so that we're creating some of that energy as best we can. So I think we've got a pretty good plan in place, but I don't know that we'll actually walk through it totally.
So you need someone to do the logistics for you. Maybe Ed Ortron can lend you one of his many front office people to with a clipboard.
Yeah. That'll be the interesting part. Having not been in the arena and not really seen where everything goes, I think we get to do what they're calling a look through on Thursday, where we can go into the arena after the play-in and kind of get the lay of the land on where everything is. And at that point, we'll have them spread out in the arena and kind of go through their mental routines and get an understanding of where that seating and everything is going to be, so that we're not just completely blind going in there.
You're taking 15 with you?
We're going to take them all. You know, I had a choice to either 18. So we'll take all 18 with us, and it was either leave them at home and take additional support staff. For some reason, we got a travel party limit and a roster limit that was cut from what it normally is, and we didn't know about it until last Monday. So So it caused us to have to make some decisions, and I just didn't want to sacrifice the student athletes' travel for anything else. So we're going to take them all.
And how many get to be on the floor in your corral?
Well, the first day is different than the second day. The first day we can have up to 13 in the corral, but that has to include assistant coaches. So really it's going to be 10 or 11 in the corral the first day. Depending on how they count the assistant coach who comes out and needs to, you can have a spotter out of the corral. I mean, there's so many nuanced little combinations and formulas. The head coach is not in the corral count. Two managers, or they're calling mat movers, are not in the corral count. We're not going to be able to travel all 4 of our managers. We'll take 2 and make that work. And you know, the second day though, we should be able to have all 15 with 3 of them in the stands.
They will be in the stands, not in a back room somewhere.
Well, no, now of the 15 on the floor the first day, those who are not in corral have what they call tier 1 seating. I don't know what that means or where it is. I assume it's like floor level seating somewhere. And they also have the option to be in a back room for, I guess, if they're needing to warm up or something like that. It's still a little vague, and we've got another conference call tomorrow that we're going to go through with the NCAA rep on site and be able to hopefully get a little more clarity to what exactly that's going to look like. But there'll definitely be some traffic patterns back and forth, you know, between events as we go. And I wanted to make sure the seniors, you know, whether they do one event or multiple events, that they got some equitable time. I really want to try to do right by those kids too.
Well, as long as it's an NCAA thing, I'm sure it won't be too complicated.
Yeah, right.
How's that working?
It never is. Yeah.
What's your week look like here in Baton Rouge? Are you going to try to do any kind of competition?
Not this week. We did Friday and Saturday. Last week we took Thursday off and did Friday, Saturday to mimic what's going to happen this week. We'll train today and tomorrow. We'll probably encourage them to get some kind of warm up and stretch and roll out done before we get on the airplane on Wednesday. Thursday we'll do in our team meeting room, we'll do some very limited warm-up, stretch, what we call line drills, things like that we can do reasonably safely in an environment like that, just to keep their bodies moving. Then we'll roll them out. We'll do a bunch of mental imagery and things of that nature, and then we'll do our look-through on Thursday night, and then it's go time on Friday. So Friday will look a lot like an away meet does all year long in terms of how we structure our day.
Any changes to your lineup? Anything?
Not right now. Not right now. I mean, the encouraging part of Friday and Saturday is that if we got out there and we felt like we needed to be strategic on the first day, I feel like we could do that with pretty good confidence. If we needed to take one of the all-arounders down to 3 events or something, if their bodies sort of indicated that would be best, I think we could do that and be confident, because we had kids in the 7, 8, and in some cases the 9 spot in the inter squads that were pushing, if not at 9-9, they were right at it. And so I feel pretty good about where they are, where the alternates are from a preparation standpoint. So we could do that, Michael. I just, we'll talk about it as we go, but right now, we kind of want to stay firm with our lineups unless there's some physical reason we need to tweak it a little bit.
Jay, I know you're in the middle of it, in your middle of your career and all that stuff, but just talk to me a little bit about Kaya Johnson, what she's been able to do for you guys last year and half a season, basically. But this year,
yeah,
a few times where she obviously couldn't compete on everything, but when she's been out there, especially on floor, she's been pretty brilliant.
Yeah, she's just such a stabilizer, and when she did what she did at SEC's on floor, I looked at Bugs and I said, that's what you call a mistake eraser right there. I mean, it just, we weren't our best early in that lineup in a couple of spots, and she comes along and does that, and suddenly you're back at a 49.5 on the event. And that's just how she is. She's such a stabilizing force with her demeanor and the way she goes about everything. It's not just about her performance. It's just about who she is as a person. I mean, her character just oozes out of her pores. I mean, she's just a very stable, very even-keeled, unflappable almost in many, many ways, and just been a tremendous maturity beyond her years, for sure. People forget, and I remind myself all the time, she came a year early, graduated early from high school,
Right.
and just has a level of maturity that's highly unusual for someone at her age and experience level.
It's crazy when you think about it like that.
Yeah.
How's Haley doing? We haven't talked to her recently. She's good.
Yeah, she's doing great. She's really doing great. She's settled in. I think physically she feels as good as she has in quite some time, and she looked amazing over the weekend as well. So you got those two. If those two, can we keep those in a good spot? That helps us. You know, just that's a third of the deal's done right there.
It's good to have some good ones, right?
Yeah. Makes a coach's life a lot easier.
And Alana on beam, yes, no,
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, she could. We were very close to pulling the trigger on that at SECs, and she has done a great job. The deal with that is that everybody ahead of her is really good too, and so you know, really the only reason we would make a change in that lineup or any other would be for some physical reason. You know, if somebody was hurting and it was a distraction for them and they weren't able to perform at their best, then we know that we have Alona there and she can jump in and go 9-9. I think Elena Arenas has really asserted herself recently as, again, has been one of the most consistent beam workers in the gym, and we know we could depend on her as well. So not looking to make any kind of changes at this stage of the game, but it's nice to know that if you got pressed into a situation where you had to, you can have a lot of confidence that you really wouldn't miss a whole lot in terms of scoring potential. And those seniors in that beam lineup, they've been there, done that, and they know what it's all about. It would take a lot for me to want to remove them from that lineup.
Someone's glad to hear that, I guess.
Yeah, somebody in the lobby wishing Katie happy birthday.
Oh,
I'm getting the sense that you just want them to go out there and just be, right? Like, I mean, at this point, you're trying to not overcomplicate it, trying to not pump them up too high, or
No, you don't, and they don't need to. If they can be what they've been and just keep. I told them this during the SEC championship, and I maintain it. We don't have to be perfect on a given day to get where we want to go. Now, that being said, we came up a 10th short at SECs, and I'm not tone deaf to that. I know that when we're just kind of dialed in and being, as they, like I said, in their terminology, their normal is better than most and better than virtually all. And I'm not sure we've seen that in totality in a competition yet. I can tell you we see it more and more and more and more in practice, and those days have become much more frequent as the year has gone along. My experience says that generally will translate to a competition sooner or later, and if it does, it's kind of scary because I think they might scare themselves when they see what they're really actually capable of. I mean, it's impressive. What we did Friday and Saturday in this gym, I was speechless, and it was that good. And you know, I told them, I said, I got nothing. I got no critique. What you just did in here 2 days in a row was nothing short of spectacular. Now the question still remains, can they be that team somewhere outside of this room? And if they can, there's not anybody that they can't beat.